Does Atlanta know that two lefts don't make a right? Can Baker save the sinking ship in Tampa? Or will Tyler Shuck take the Saints to the promised land? This is your NFC South predictions with the Big Score Podcast. It's time for the best division in the league.
Oh my God. Bold ass statement.
It's been the worst division in the NFL.
It could be the most competitive. It could be pretty, really. But it could be the most competitive.
for the last 5 years, it's been the worst division in the league. It's the NFC South. We're all Saints fans here, so I'll preface that in the very beginning. So sadly, it may end up being going the way that we all think it's going to go. Maybe it won't. I don't know. What do y'all think about this division overall before we jump into the individual teams? It's been pretty bad since 2020.
It wouldn't surprise me if a close to 500 ball club wins the division.
Yeah, in years past, I thought this division was not as bad as people would say it is. This year, it feels like, it might be.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, it's going to be an interesting division. We'll start out with the worst team in the division.
Dan's a little high on him. He's sipping that Bryce Young Kool-Aid.
Hey, man, they won the division last year. They're not a bad team. It's just got a quarterback that, he's got the same height as Kyler Murray without the wheels. So is he going to keep it up? But, their team's not bad. I guess I'll start here. They won the division last year, losing record, but obviously they're competitive. They were pretty competitive, I think, against the Rams in the playoffs. Their defense should be improved. Their offensive line should be improved. We'll see how their running game does. No more Dowdle, but Jonathan Brooks coming in, highly touted draft pick, coming off some injuries. If he's finally healthy, maybe he could be a little more explosive for him than a guy like Chuba. Chuba more of a change of pace back for him. We'll see. Maybe Chuba just keeps running with it, and he's obviously not a bad running back. I'm a big fan of Jalen Coker. Tet can do a ton of different things. Maybe Xavier Legette finally lives up to his draft status as well. They have some pieces there. They shouldn't be a bad team. Again, not a great team. They have a harder schedule than everybody else in the South, at least, be in first place.
Yes. Yeah.
I still see them losing a lot of games. But they could surprise a lot of people. Like, I think that's not a team that you look at on your schedule and say that's an easy win. You still have to go out there. You can't overlook them. Like the Lions, if they overlook them, boom, there's a win against the Lions. The Ravens, they have them losing to coming off back-to-back wins. But it's another team, again, if you're not paying attention, they could be any team in the league. Not a huge fan of them, but they're not going to be a team that you just walk over.
Yeah. I don't disagree with a lot of stuff you said, to be completely honest. I don't think they're a terrible team. I think their defense is actually better than people give them credit for. But I don't believe in Bryce Young. I think last year was a fluke. I think that was the head coach being an offensive guru coming in there and trying to fix Bryce and making it simple and simplifying the offense gave them the ability to win. And also they had a fairly easy schedule. I won't say they had the easiest, but they had a fairly easy schedule. This year they have one of the hardest schedules. I think, Brad, you ended up pulling the straight of the schedule for them, right?
I actually did not for them, but I do know that I looked at it yesterday, just in general, overall NFL, and I'm pretty sure they have the hardest one, at least in our division.
Yes. Yeah. So I see that this year. They're not going to be the worst team in this division. I know I made that joke when we switched to them, but they will not be the worst team in this division. But they're definitely not winning the division this year. No. They're probably going to finish somewhere between second and third. There are worse teams in this division. I have them starting out 0-5 and then kind of coming back and getting a little bit streaky in the middle. I do have some sneaky wins in there, against Green Bay, another game against Minnesota. Yeah. So, I don't know, Brad, you're one game worse than me, though, so you're seeing them as the worst team in the division?
No, almost, but it's close. I have them all kind of down at the bottom. Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but no, for one of the same reasons as you, I just don't think Bryce Young has it. I agree. They brought in the the offensive guy and be a head coach, and it helped him out. Like you said, it tried to make him look good or at least feel good about that draft pick that they made in getting Bryce Young. But I don't think he's the answer there. They've been trying to load him with more talent every year, and I just don't see any progression from him. So I do like their defense. I think it's a little bit underrated, like Dan said, but I still don't think they have the firepower to make any kind of noise in this league right now. So that's the reason I think that they're not gonna. I think they're gonna finish. It's gonna be a 3-way race for last place in this division. Put it to you like that. It's gonna be
we're definitely gonna get to that that division ranking toward the end of this. But
I just hope the Saints aren't in that race.
Two more things before we leave. One, I will give Carolina credit here. They did the exact opposite of what Tennessee did. They went out last year and got a head coach that is an offensive guru and a coach that actually turned Baker Mayfield into a competent quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was there a couple years ago, but
3 years ago.
Yeah.
You're right, 3 years, but still, maybe it was So he's going into his third season this year. You're right.
Yes,
but either way,
but still same thing. They went and got after year one instead of going at a defensive guy. They went and got a coach to build him up, which is how it should be done.
You should be doing exactly.
They also
Here's
tried
your
to
quarterback drafted first or second.
They've also been trying to get him a bona fide weapon every year. Unfortunately this year
they've been trying.
Unfortunately this year Brizell went down, which that I was kind of high on him coming out. And I think you were too, Juvie, but it's football. It happens. Next man.
If he comes back next year though strong, can Coker keep showing out? That could be 3 really good receivers for him going into next year.
Yeah, 100%. Just got to see if their running game amounts to anything.
Yep. So speaking of, one last thing on this one actually, Dan, what's going on here, bro? You got him sleeping the Saints? Come on.
Yeah,
they swept them last year. What's going on here, man?
Dude, it's divisional games. I know. You can't sleep on the Panthers. And look, I'm high on the Saints, but Saints are going to make mistakes. They're a young team, and the Panthers can be tough. So just I want to be a homer, but I had to give the Saints some losses somewhere.
I guess it's only right for the divisional winner to get swept by one of their rivals. So
yeah,
and it's a mess.
It is. All right. Speaking of that, we're gonna move on to not us. We're moving on to Tampa, and I have them as the worst team in this division. I do not believe in Todd Bowles. I don't understand why he did not get fired last year, and why he did not get fired the year before. They allowed Liam Combs to leave that building. They allowed Dan Canales to leave that building. That's 2 top 8 offensive head coaches in the NFL right now. 2 top 8 offensive play callers in the NFL. They were in the room in the same building with Baker, and they just let him leave and chose Todd Bowles over them.
Both of those coaches made the playoffs last year.
Yes, yes. It's a mistake. I just think the wheels are going to come off this year for Todd. I don't see how that he can keep this team going. There's issues in that locker room. I know they paid Vita Vea, and he deserved every penny he got. But Baker's still not happy.
No.
He didn't really improve the defense too much. Yeah, they went out and got Bain, and Bain's looked good in preseason. But I think he messed up his knee here recently. I saw something, or maybe it was an AC joint, something like that. He kind of hurt himself a little bit, so he was questionable for week 1 coming up. It's still a couple weeks, but still, I just don't see Tampa being a good team this year. They don't have the hardest schedule in the division, but they have a decently hard schedule. If you look at the teams they're playing, they're definitely not playing an easy schedule by any means. And I think that's just going to show the wheels are going to fall off. I think Todd Bowles keeps his job to the end of the season, though. But they need to fire him, and they need to keep Baker. They need to hire a actual offensive head coach. And look, I don't want them to do any of that. I hope they go hire another defensive retread and go into.
I hope they keep Todd Bowles.
Go into. If you're a Saints fan, I want them to stay in mediocrity and lower. But in reality, for their best for that franchise, they need to move on from Bowles and actually get a competent offensive head coach to be able to push that team forward. I don't know. You two are both on 5-12, so I don't know, Brad. You got them starting hot and then dying off toward the end. So what was your thoughts there?
I think they were going to come out hot. I believe in Baker's talent. He'll have some of those games where it's like you're just like, "What are you doing, man?" But then he'll also have a game where he goes and wins it for you against somebody they shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think when definition of like football guy, that's like Baker Mayfield. But he can sling the ball. Was Ibuka hurt? Did anybody is he going to be back for the opening of the season?
They said he would. They said he would be back, but he did tweak. I think it was his ankle thing, but they did tweak whatever he tweaked it.
He's a big part of that offense. But I agree with y'all for the most part. I think Todd Bowles is ship's ran his course here. Their defense had way more talent in the few years past than it does right now, and that's supposed to be his specialty. Anytime you're in a off season and your quarterback is in the media talking about not getting paid and feeling disrespected, that's never a good recipe for success in the year coming. And they have a lot of question marks, like you said. Ibuka's coming off an injury. He looked promising to start last year. He was actually red hot to start last year, and then he got hurt, so he's quite not at 100% right now. Bucky Irvin's coming off. I think we all liked Bucky Irvin when he first came out, and it's like one of them things where it's like you just haven't really seen a whole lot of positive stuff come out of it. People are saying he's healthy and he looks good, but it's like, you're not seeing him like when not to switch divisions or whatever, but like everybody was worried about Malik, and then all of a sudden, boom, here's all kind of highlights of him making deep cuts and making plays like we haven't seen anything from Bucky. So it's like I hope he comes back healthy, but I just think that team is now falling apart more than it is getting built back up. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I like the Bucs defense. Obviously they're not as talented as they were in years past, which may be true, but they went and got two rookies I'm high on in Trotter and Bain. Alex Anzalone, he's bounced around the league, but he's been productive everywhere he goes. I like their defensive backs. Maybe they're not all of them, all pros, but they're good players. They have a lot of good pieces on defense. I don't trust Todd Bowles to call a great defensive game for the talent that he has on that side of the ball. And the offensive side, like you said, Baker, football guy. I like watching him play. He's fun. He'll go head to head with a 6'7" D tackle. He's not
he will.
He will.
Straight. He's gonna be stupid sometimes, and you like that from a
teammate's perspective. Yeah, that too.
But he's gonna do stupid things. He'll go play with a hurt shoulder and throw some ducks in the air. He'll make some bad reads. He's a fun guy to watch. He's super talented, but he'll have some games where he'll lose them for you. And the vibes this offseason were just terrible. They seem better now. So part of that 5 wins ahead for him was it was ugly coming into this part of the offseason right before the season starts. It's a little better, but even better vibes. It's going to fix that offense. Godwin's getting older. Is Ibuka going to be healthy? Is Bucky going to be healthy? Yeah, they got Kenny Gainwell, who was fun to watch last year. I don't know if I want him to be my, number one option. Yeah, he had a fun little run last year for the Steelers, but he didn't do much coming out of Philly before that.
Yeah,
he's not a number one back. I mean,
yeah,
he's
so I can
changed
rely on him if Bucky's hurt. They just feel like their offense isn't great and the defense isn't good enough to elevate the offense. So they just feel like they might be stuck in the mud for most of the year, especially if Baker's, not in the best of situations with his contract, and we'll see how he's doing. But yeah, just not great. Even if the vibes are better than they were, still not great.
Yeah. Then one last thing to finish up on Tampa. That offense does have some decent talent on it. It really does. The receivers, I'm really high on Ted Hurst. McMillan's really good. Ibuka's really good. Bucky could be better, but that ankle injury last year, it's just kind of makes me kind of wash on him a little bit. The offensive line is pretty good, and I think Baker is a top quarterback in the NFL, at least top 12, if not higher in the NFL. I just think that they haven't done very well since losing Liam Cohen. They got Zach Robinson from Atlanta after he got Raheem Morris fired in Atlanta. Now he's going to get Todd Bowles fired in Tampa. The Saints were actually in the running. He was in the running for the Saints offensive coordinator job when we got Kubiak back in 2024. Yeah, I just think this team's lack of offensive coaching is going to cost them, and they're just going to struggle this year. But speaking of another crappy team in the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons. I said crappy, but I got them going 7-10, and that's also due to not having They have two quarterbacks, which means you have none. But Brad, 4-13, I love it.
Yeah.
Jump into it.
I hate the Falcons, man. Look, just kind of like how you said about Tampa Bay, they got weapons on offense everywhere. They just, they don't have nobody to pull a trigger, man. I don't believe in Tua. I don't believe in Penix. And, before we started recording, I said that in my heart and in my head, I really think that both of those guys get hurt this year. They both have serious injury history. Tua is like one hit away from almost being a vegetable. I mean, I hate to even say it like that, but it's true.
No, you're right. You really are.
And Penix is injury prone himself, and neither one of them. Everything has to be perfect for those quarterbacks to have a chance to win the game, and I just don't think it will be. Bijan's amazing. Drake London's a really great talent at wide receiver. Pitts has never lived up to the hype, in my opinion. He's technically improved every year, I guess, if you want to call it like that, but he's never jumped off the board like everybody thought he would. And I don't really believe in that defense. I don't believe in the team as a whole. Clearly, I have them so far at the worst record in this division. I just think that they keep trying to patch the major issue that needs to be addressed, which is the quarterback situation. And I think it'll be bad enough this year to where it might finally hit them in the head. Like, we either need to draft somebody or dish out some serious money before we waste all our elite offensive skill talent.
Well, they may have found.
What's funny is they dished out money and drafted somebody 2 years ago, and neither of them are the projected starter for week 1.
Yeah. So you either follow
still paying Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. So you either follow in the path of the Browns right now, and you just won't put your pride to the side and you let the ship sink, or you make it right and try to go get somebody that you actually have faith in. But I don't think either one of those quarterbacks are the answer right now, and I don't think anybody else does either.
No. Dan, you got them winning 2 more games than Brad. You're seeing them at least in that 2-3 fight in the division. I'm assuming so.
They have a good offensive line. They have talent. Everybody wants to talk about all the talent they have on offense. They have Drake London. They have Bijan Robinson. Jahan Dotson hasn't lived up to the billing where he's been. Last year, had a nice little, a couple games with Washington. He was with Washington and Philly. It was Philly, and then he went to Washington, huh?
Yeah, you're right.
He got traded. Philly and had 2 good games with Washington, something like that. No,
the other way around.
I'm having it backwards. Whatever.
Yeah.
Dotson, had a couple good games last year, wherever he was at. He was at Washington before then. He had a couple good games, but nothing to write home about. Zacchaeus, a couple good games with the Bears. We'll see how Zachariah Branch does. Kyle Pitts obviously hasn't lived up to the billing like we talked about. Still some good pieces, but not this potent offense. I mean, the top 2 were very potent, but
that's the whole thing.
But who's going to get them the ball? They should have time to throw it. I think their offensive line's really good, and they're going to open up some running lanes. And I like Penix if he's healthy. I don't know how long he's going to stay healthy. Tua is shot. He should be retired. And we'll see what they do with Jack Strand.
Yeah.
They also have Cooper Rush on the roster right now. He's shown that he could be a good backup, but
he's going to get cut.
Yeah.
Also,
their defense, they invested pretty highly in 2 edge rushers. One is injured, one will be suspended.
There you go.
So who's the rush passer for him? Their
Jonathan
DBs are all right, but who's going to get pressure on the quarterback so the DBs can actually do what they want to do? I don't see their defense being super great. Their offense, again, good O-line. Who's going to get their guys the ball, though? They could be really good if everything breaks the right way. Penix is healthy all season. Jalen Walker comes back healthy early. Maybe James Pierce doesn't, only serves half the season on suspension and comes back, and they crush the second half of the season. But yeah, this team does not feel like they're going anywhere. And they'll crash out pretty early. I don't see them fighting for anything late in the season.
No.
Yep. I do see them as the number 2 team in this division. And that's really just because of Stefanski. I'm not going to say he's a very good head coach because the way he ran Cleveland, specifically in the quarterback room, was a bit disappointing. Letting Baker go and then bringing in Deshaun Watson, which was an awful mistake. Now, how much was that him and how much was that the owner and somebody else? Yeah. But that derailed his entire career in Cleveland. But I don't think he's a bad coach.
No.
I think he can pull that offense together, whatever quarterback is back there, make them at least competent. But I don't think they're good enough by any means to be a winning team. I was really high on their defense, but obviously the 2 edge rushers are now gone for a decent amount of time, if not the whole season. So that's kind of where my 7-10 came in. If I would have made this record, knowing the extent of both of them, they probably would have been more in the 6-5 win spot because that really does hurt their defense. Those 2 are probably one of the top pass rushers in this division. But yeah, I just don't think that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you can't rush the pass. I don't care how good you can cover.
Exactly.
So that's why I touched on I just don't believe in their defense. I don't think they can't put the whole package together on either side of the ball.
No, they can't.
So that I don't have any faith in them. Plus, I'm a Saints fan, so I don't give a rat's ass about the Falcons.
So yeah, speaking about the Saints.
11-6. God.
Oh yeah, baby.
Damn.
Oh yeah. This ain't no Kool-Aid either over here. This ain't no black and gold colored glasses. This is real life right here.
He said this is real.
Yep. I am confident in them this year.
They should make it to dance.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck has looked fantastic in I don't want to say preseason because he hasn't played a snap in preseason. And he won't play a snap in preseason. But in the joint practices and from the video that's been released by the media, and also us going in person and seeing
for sure
him play in person. He did start off a little rough, had a little rust on him, but he came on pretty hot lately. I mean, yesterday there's a bunch of video coming out of a couple of passes to Vele and Austin Jr. And some of those touch on those passes is just
that's where you can see if somebody got it. I know. That's where you can see if they have it, the touch passes and stuff. Yeah.
Correct. His connection with Bailey is looking good.
Yes. Which will be huge in the red zone. Big body.
It will be because Bailey's a big body. Yep. It's sad that Tyson's going to be out for 5 to 7 weeks probably, or until week 5 or 7, I should say. He's going to be out for 2 months, which is 8 weeks. But sad to see that happen. But I was excited to see him get some connection and some stuff with Shuck because he's probably the most talented wide receiver on the roster. Nothing against Olave, but just Tyson's natural talent is very clear when he's actually playing. But yeah, I think the offense is going to come together pretty well. I don't think they're going to be a top 10 or 12 offense, but I can definitely see them in that 13 to 18 spot, which is good enough in the NFL right now to be able to get to 10 or 11 wins, especially having one of the second easiest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah, second.
Which, again, it sucked last year losing to the Falcons, but blessing in disguise, we now have the second easiest schedule in the division. So, I mean, look at those last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing against probably 4 teams that are going to be fighting for a top 8 pick.
Yeah, 100%. They do have a gauntlet like we've talked about in the past.
They do. But, they have that gauntlet from week 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah. But, no, you're right. In order to tie up the division, those last, what is it? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 games are division games.
Yep.
And none of us are really high on any of those other teams in our division. So
nope.
They have everything to stay healthy. to win the division.
That is the biggest thing. So they are currently the second most injured team in the preseason.
Yeah.
So it's not great.
Shout out Oscar.
Shout out Oscar. But yeah, no, I see him stealing that one in Detroit and then going on a run after that loss to Baltimore. I think Baltimore's just a better team right now than the Saints. And then, they're just going to kind of go from there. And that gauntlet, they're probably going to win one game and roll through it. But I don't know, Dan, 9-8, you obviously did not drink the Kool-Aid.
I'm trying not to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm a big fan, but they still have some issues. I think their issues aren't as bad as some of the other teams. Like Atlanta, the quarterback issue is a mess, and they don't have their edge rushers. Tampa's their offense is hurt. I know the Saints, you could say the same thing, but at least our quarterback isn't, fighting with his own team right now.
Yeah.
Panthers also dealing with some injuries. But the quarterback can't really see over the line, and a lot of people are doubting his own talent. Are they actually going to be any good? At least in New Orleans, Shuck, we really don't know, but he had a good showing at the end of last year. This preseason, he's showing that he can throw the ball. He's looking better than Rattler and Wilson, who are guys that have also started in the NFL. Rattler being touted as a guy that other teams want to go after. Wilson, he was just with the Jets. He may have been a decent quarterback outside of New York. So comparing to other starters, guys who played the NFL, at least Shuck's looking better than them. Our offensive line should be improved. Our defense was top 10 last year. Didn't feel like it, but they were. So if they're a top 15 defense, again, this team should be average to slightly above average. It's only 9 wins, but if you look, I have them going 1-5 from week 10 to week 15.
Rough call.
It's a bad way to kind of close out the season if you're trying to make a playoff push. Flip one more of those games and you're a double-digit win team. If we lose a game elsewhere, flip 2 of them. They go 3-3 in that stretch. They're still a 10-win team. So this team should be good. They should be more improved. I really think they'll win the division. They have improvements to make. You don't want to see a ton of guys get hurt. It sucks that Tyson's already out, but we're not relying on a bunch of unknowns anymore. Like Kevin Austin Jr. should not be our wide receiver 2, even with guys out. Vele's healthy. Barry and Brown's coming on strong. Bryce Lance is looking pretty good. They have more depth at receiver. Our running back room seems better, even with Kamara out right now. I'm a big fan of Donaldson. I hope he makes a team, but I really like Audric Estime back there as well. Even our tight end room is looking better.
Yeah, no, you good.
No, you're good.
I completely agree with you. I don't know, Brad, 10-7.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that they should, as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they should win this division. We should be just fine. Like we said, we've seen Shuck in training camp. He finished the season strong last year. I think he averaged like 300 yards a game for the last couple. I think he led the league in that aspect of that statistic to finish off last season. It does suck that Jordan Tyson went down, but his connection with Olave and Juwan has been strong, and they finished last year strong, so they get to continue and build off of that. And if they can pick up where they left off at the beginning of the year and they can get hot, just imagine what the offense could do once Tyson does come back into the fold. So it could add another dynamic weapon into that mix, which would be great for, Kellen Moore, because we've seen what his offenses can do when they have multiple legit weapons on the team. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing I'm looking forward to, the defense, is I want to see the pass rush get back to getting after it. Chase Young really seems to start to believe in the city and, be about being here. And you always want to hear that as a fan. So hopefully he comes on strong. Cam Jordan, maybe one last ride. Hopefully we do he does good things for us. He always has. But I'm just looking for overall for them. They should, like we said, they should be a double-digit win team. They do have that gauntlet from weeks 11 to 13, and I think that's going to show us as fans and the NFL if they're legit or not. So
no, definitely. the biggest thing for me to get them to 11 is just the fact of their schedule itself. Oh, there's a dog that showed up on the screen.
There's dog that
yeah, the reason I get them to 11 wins is really just the schedule. Out of these games, they really only play 5 teams that are actually going to be that are actually talented teams that are going to win potentially 8 to 10 wins or more.
Right.
Everybody else is probably not going to win more than 7 games. So they should go into most of these games being the best, if not equal to these teams. And, I think both the offense and the defense are going to finish both somewhere between 13 and 18th ranked. I don't think they're going to be world beaters or top 10 by any means, but I don't think they're going to be bottom feeders this year. I think they're just both going to be average, but 2 average position groups or sides of the ball can get you pretty far. I don't know. I might have them as a little Patriot fever like last year. You never know. We'll have to see how the playoffs go when we get there for our picks.
If your team can stay healthy and the strength of the schedule works in our favor, which it clearly does this year, you never know.
It's interesting. You got a head coach going into, well, I guess Vrabel wasn't going into a second year, but you got a head coach, you got a quarterback going into a second season. You got a defense that's coming together with a really good defensive coordinator. A lot of things can happen.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, for the division, I think we're pretty much in agreement that the Saints obviously are going to win this division this year. They are the best team. Whether they win 11 games or they win 9 games or they win 8 games, they're going to win this division. They're the better team. They're the best team in the division going into it. We kind of disagree a little bit in the middle. I don't think we really agree very much looking at it. Y'all two agree about the Panthers in second place, but everything else is pretty much a crapshoot.
Dog water. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just bad. Any final thoughts before we dismiss on the best division in the NFL?
I hope the division winner is above 500, and I hope that's
yes, exactly, 100%.
Somebody needs to stop the NFC South slander and let it be New Orleans.
That's right.
Yeah,
back when our heyday, when it was the toughest division in football.
Shoot, yeah. All right, that is going to wrap all of our division predictions. We hope you enjoyed all of them. We still have one more show left. We got to go through our playoffs and a little bit of our draft orders. We're going to hit that up in one big episode coming up next week. So hope you stick around, and we look forward to seeing you then.